Hey, what's up, guys? So, welcome to episode 41 of the Endless Endeavor podcast. Little public service announcement. This episode is probably going to have a lot of fucks and shits and motherfuckers. So, if you have kids in the car, this may not be a kid friendly episode. But before I get into all that, I just wanted to let you guys know that I just got back from New Orleans. We did our inaugural Guns and Geese event, Class 001, and it exceeded all of my expectations. It was awesome. And the whole idea of what that camp was supposed to be was, yes, an introduction to combat pistol shooting, an introduction to jiu-jitsu, but then we also wanted to instill like a sense of camaraderie and a sense of community. And so how we're running this camp is we do 3 hours of pistol shooting on the range in the morning, take a lunch break, 3 hours of jujitsu in the afternoon, which for class 2, I think we're going to dial down a little bit because 3 hours of grappling for guys that aren't familiar with the mats was starting to kind of wear them out. Their cups were full. So I think we're going to dial that back to probably 2 hours a session. But then lastly, at night, we did dinners together. We did bonfires. We had beers, whiskeys, and just really got to know each other. And I think that that is one of the biggest things that's missing in our culture today is that being able to just seek out like-minded people and then being able to have those real conversations and that real connection. And so we're going to start to put more of an emphasis on that on our future Guns and Geese classes. We just announced class 2 yesterday. So by the time this airs, it'll be a week or so ago that we announced this. And that's going to be something that's actually built into the program. Because, I mean, we did dinners and beers and stuff, and it was just kind of organic. But we want to actually schedule that and get that time on the calendar for team bonding. I think that's a really important aspect. We had this class was 30 people. It was actually 28 because we had a couple last minute cancellations due to COVID. I told them to come anyways, make it a super spreader event. But no, they canceled. So we had 28 people. They were all men this time. And people have been asking me, can women attend? I'm like, yes, women can attend. All right. It's open to whoever. I think we'll probably at one point have like husband-wife teams and anyone is welcome to attend. But this one just happened to be 28 men. And sitting around the campfire at night, we really got into the weeds with stuff. And if anyone's listening to this podcast, you already know I'm pretty open about stuff. I'm open about my combat experience. I'm open about depression. I'm open about just the struggles that I've faced as a father and as a husband. And being open about that with a group of men, it was interesting to see how other men are really just waiting for an opportunity to be heard and tell their story and kind of delve into things that society, for whatever reason, doesn't give men the opportunity to delve into, or just not even men, just people in general. And so I'm really excited about this project. I've been telling everybody that's asked me, oh, how'd it go? It literally exceeded my expectations on every front of the jiu-jitsu, of the shooting, and then, like I said, the just the camaraderie. And so we're excited to keep building this program and see where it takes us. Right now, we have our New Orleans location because my friend Greg Lappin down there has both phenomenal jiu-jitsu academy, and then he also has a gun range. So we can make an all-encompassing event right there at his facility. We're in the process of doing that up here at my gym. My gym is already established and a nice facility to run the grappling side of it at. And I just closed on 30 acres of property in the mountains, and we're going to build a gun range out there. And so anybody that's ever built anything knows there's a lot of red tape. So I've had people ask me, when do you think Guns and Geese Seattle is going to happen? The truth is, it could be 3 months out or it could be a year out because there's just some permitting and some red tape and some easement issues, all the bullshit that you have to deal with. But regardless, it's going to happen. Now, for people that have been asking me, are you going to take it on the road? We'll see. I mean, we don't want to put out a product that is not A+ quality. And to be able to do that logistically, we need to be able to have access to the facilities, have access to the range, have access to a place to have a big bonfire, have local restaurants that can cater our Friday night meal, and all the different things that really make this experience come together. I don't know if we could provide that on the road or not. So as of now, it's a New Orleans only event. Seattle will be following in the probably not too distant future, and then perhaps Southern California. But I mean, Southern California has so many fucking gun laws that I don't even think you can bring a Glock Gen 4 or 5 into the state. Bunch of bullshit. So maybe California will happen just because Joao has electric jiu-jitsu down there. So we have the mat room, and we'll see where it goes. But I'm super excited with how it played out, and I'm really looking forward to future events. So with that said, one of the cool things about the event was connecting with like-minded people. I feel like we're kind of in a vacuum right now where there's lots of people out there that share my sentiments on things and have similar views on, I mean, a whole conglomerate of issues, but mainly political, because we're in a weird place politically right now. And sitting down with 28 other people that feel we're kind of being shit on by the political elite, and we're having our rights stripped away by all the COVID stuff. And it gave people a pass to be able to really express their concerns and articulate the things that they're worried about. And not only at the campfires, but also on the internet, I'm seeing a lot of people that are very fearful. And so I wanted to dedicate this episode to fear. What is fear? Why do we feel it? And what do we allow that fear to dictate in our lives? And we're at a weird time right now where every time we log into our computers, turn on our phones, turn on our television, it's fear, fear, fear. And they're making people live in this constant state of fight or flight. So one thing I wanted to say about this episode is I'm going to talk about assault weapons bans. I'm going to talk about the Ninth Circuit's bullshit ruling they came to, I believe it was yesterday, about carrying a firearm outside of your house, or the Supreme Court that is weighing in on allowing police officers to enter your home without a warrant. And I want to talk about all these things, but I don't want to talk about them like when you log into CNN or you turn your television onto Fox News and you see them fear mongering, right? Because I think when you get the normal or the regular media using fear as a tool, they're not doing it to educate. They're not doing it to bring together or unify people. They're doing it for clicks, and they're doing it for money. And for me, this podcast isn't about clicks or fucking money. This podcast is about authenticity. The whole reason this podcast even came into existence is because I had a lot of people that were very excited and supportive about a guy that was willing to speak up and be authentic and not give a shit what the consequences were. And this podcast is a direct result of that. That allowed me both the time and the financial ability to start this, get a production company, buy the equipment, and then here we are on episode 41. And it's been a really cool journey. But the thing is, this platform that has been created as a result of all those things that I just talked about, I'm not here to incite fear. I'm here to do the complete opposite. We're not afraid of you. We're not fucking afraid of you. And I want people to know that I'm not just some guy with a microphone talking in my bedroom saying, fuck you, you don't scare us. I speak for millions of Americans. And the reason I wanted to make this episode primarily is because I want everyone to hear that hears this to know you're not alone. You're far from alone. It's the opposite. And I think all these political elite cocksuckers that have weaseled their way into these positions of power where they're making millions of dollars, not giving a shit what their constituents think, and trying to move all these tyrannical mandates with all the COVID shit. And then last week, The shift went from your medical freedoms to your Second Amendment rights. And it's clear as day what these fuckers are doing. And I'm telling you, sooner or later, it's going to fucking reach a boiling point. And I can't fucking wait. I cannot fucking wait. And the thing is like, I've never been, I was going to say I've never been a violent person. That's not true. I've been a very violent person. I've been a more violent person than all these political fuckers could even imagine. But I've never been a person to incite things. I've never been a person to cause issues, go out and fucking bully or try and stir the pot. That's not me. And I don't think that's the majority of us. And the left has painted the right as these hateful, insightful maniacs that, you know, misogynistic and racist, and we'll get into some of this stuff. The former president Barack Obama, who the fuck is Barack Obama? Well, I don't know why he thinks that his opinion on things are still valid. Maybe because he's the fucking puppet master for fucking Sleepy Joe. But he's talking about all this stuff and talking about the right like we're just absolute fucking monsters. And so what this podcast is going to be an opportunity for us to unify, and also for us to understand that the people on the right, we're not these hateful people that you are painting us out to be. But I promise you, I fucking promise you that we are violent and capable. And that is the fucking foundational reason why they want to strip away our Second Amendment rights. And so we can go right into that. The shooting in Colorado that happened, it was about, I think it was like 3 or 4 days ago, but by the time this airs, it'll be 10 days ago. You know, how many people were tweeting, oh, it's a right-wing wacko. I'm sure he's a MAGA supporter. All this bullshit. Actually, no. Look, shocking. It was a Syrian immigrant. Who would have thought, right? So instead of looking at the problem and saying, we have a Syrian immigrant here that is murdering American citizens inside of a grocery store, that's the problem, right? That's the problem. The problem isn't, oh, well, we didn't have a proper background check and we allowed this guy got a rifle. No. The problem is some fucking kook wanted to go into a fucking store and kill people, and people didn't have the ability to defend themselves. Okay? People are having their rights and their abilities to defend themselves and defend their families stripped away from them every single day. And the government talks about this is for your protection. If that fuckface was at a grocery store and was shooting people when I was there, guess what I would have done? I would have fucking advanced on him and I would have put him down. And maybe I would have got killed in the process. Guess what? That's fucking life. That's life. So if you're unwilling to confront danger just out of the preservation of your own life, that's because you're being fearful. All right. If I don't think there's anybody out there that thinks, you know what, tomorrow I hope I get killed in a gunfight. But guess what? That's part of fucking being a free American and living in a society where people are able to fucking carry guns and go about their day and do things on their own accord. That may happen. Okay. So get that in your mind right now. We can't say on one hand, we want guns in our society and then not be ready and willing and capable to confront violence. Those two go hand in hand. But the second that we strip away our rights to carry guns, what do you think that's going to mean? What do you think is going to happen? We no longer have a say in how anything goes. And then, I mean, it's the age-old argument people have been saying from fucking the beginning of time. You strip away guns from law-abiding citizens. Do you really think fucking criminals are going to suddenly go turn their guns in? No, absolutely not. Everybody knows that. And so what they're going to do is they're going to disarm the population that is willing to obey. And that has to be the line drawn in the sand. We will not comply. we will not obey. And it's to the point, and I've said this publicly before, and this isn't hyperbole. This isn't me trying to, oh, I'm going to make a podcast where I talk a bunch of shit and get people riled up. No, I'm saying this because I want every listener to know that you should do the same. If they do an assault weapons ban, and here's the thing, I don't know what they hope to accomplish with an assault weapons ban or what they necessarily mean by it. It's very convoluted. They don't have a lot of details. And if they try and implement an assault weapons ban, are they going to ban future production and future sale? Are the other ones going to be grandfathered in? Is there going to be a mandatory time where you have to turn them in and then afterwards you're subject to arrest? Or are they going to make you register them? I mean, Biden's such a fucking moron. He literally proposed in his during his campaign that he wanted every high capacity magazine to be registered. And each one would require a $200 fee. I mean, think about that. I don't know about you guys, and I'm not exaggerating. If I had to estimate how many, I'm not going to call them high capacity magazines, because 30 round magazines for AR-15s and 20 round magazines for AR-10s, I probably have 200 plus. So you think I'm going to register, and they're not serial numbered either. It's not even a trackable item. So what the fuck are you talking about that you want to register each magazine and have a $200 fee, registration fee? Like, where I'm at on this and where I hope all you guys are at, if you want me to register my magazines, you can go fuck yourself. If you want me to be part of a national registry with my weapons, you can go fuck yourself. All right. And if you think you're going to come and try and trample my freedoms by using law enforcement as your henchmen, they can go fuck themselves. All right. That's where we all have to be on this. Not willing to step back 1 inch, not 1 inch, because it's the frog in the pot analogy. Right now, they've been turning up the heat for the last 30 years, but they're cranking it up a little more. They're cranking it up a little more. And they're not just going to come out one day and be like, hey, everybody turn your guns in and we're going to go door to door and we're going to seize them, because that would be the fucking boiling point. And police officers would be getting fucking murdered, and rightfully so. I don't give a fuck if you're a cop or not. If you're going to people's houses door to door to seize their guns, I hope you get fucking shot. Okay. And that's coming from a guy that has been military and law enforcement for the last 20 years of my life. You deserve whatever you have coming. But I don't think that that's what they're going to do. What they're going to do is they're going to enact legislation and they're going to propose a timeline, and you have to do this and you have to do that and you have to do this. And then, you know, a year later, when you're driving down the street because you and your girlfriend went and shot your AR-15 out in the mountains and did some fucking target practice or some tactical training, and you get pulled over for a fucking burned out taillight, and the cop looks in the back of your car and goes, oh, well, what is that? Well, that's my AR-15, motherfucker. What does it look like? But then, if the laws are legislated and they're on the books, well, it's not registered, and I'm going to have to do this, and we're going to have to confiscate it, and you're going to get charged with that. And they're going to just start chipping away, and they're going to use cops in that manner to be the enforcers. I don't think it'll be door to door. I think it'll just be like, hey, if you're caught, you get caught. And then we're going to go forward with the legal approach based on what has been legislated into law. The Ninth Circuit said yesterday, okay? They said yesterday that the right to bear arms does not extend beyond your doorstep. I'm going to say that again. The Ninth Circuit, which includes all of the West Coast. So I'm in the fucking Ninth Circuit, unfortunately, but it includes Alaska and Arizona, Idaho, Montana, Nevada, and Hawaii. They said that the right to bear arms does not extend beyond your doorstep, and that states have the right to ban open carry. And they're even starting to encroach on concealed carry. So think about that. I've been carrying a gun in service of this nation since I was 18 years old, all over the fucking world. Getting shot at, getting blown up, having fucking IEDs detonated as we drive by. I come home, I'm a law abiding citizen, I'm a business owner, I've never been arrested, I have nothing negative on my record. I have 3 young daughters, and I think it's my absolute sole responsibility to keep them safe when we're out in public together. Fucking A. 10 people were killed in a grocery store yesterday. You don't think I'm going to have my gun on me when I go to Olive Garden with my 3 daughters? Yesterday, we went to Olive Garden for my daughter's 12th birthday, and I'm armed. I'm not armed because I'm afraid of anything. I'm armed because if some cocksucker tries to hurt my family, I got an answer for you. All right? I have a fucking answer for you. And the most bizarre thing about all of these judges and these politicians saying, well, we don't believe that the right to bear arms extends beyond your doorstep. Okay? Anyone that says that deserves to be fucking strung up for fucking tyranny. All right? Listen to the words that they are speaking. The right to bear arms does not extend beyond your doorstep. So go out into the world with the inability to protect you, yourself, your loved ones, your family, your friends. You don't have that opportunity anymore because some cocksucker sitting on a fucking bench has decided that he just doesn't think that the right to bear arms extends beyond your doorstep. So if they start banning concealed carry, are you guys going to stop carrying your gun? Just because some fucking idiot thinks that you shouldn't be able to protect yourself? I'll tell you right now, there is no man, there is no legal authority, there is no law enforcement officer, there is no politician that can tell me I do not have the right to protect my daughters. That man does not exist on planet Earth. And if that man thinks he exists, come and fucking try and stop me. I fucking dare you. Come and try and take my ability away to defend my family. All right? I will fucking die tonight defending that right. Why? Because I would rather be fucking dead and know than know I'm a fucking coward. If you just bend a knee to these cocksuckers, you shouldn't be able to look yourself in the mirror. I spent a week in Los Angeles. Guess what was on my hip every fucking day? My Glock 43. If you think that you have the right to deny me my right to protect myself, you can fuck yourself. All right? Period. It's not up for debate. Period. And if you're the police officer, where's your concealed carry permit? Fuck you too. All right? I don't have to give a reason on why I want to carry a gun. In California, you have to petition the sheriff to carry a gun. And guess what? Most people's applications get denied. You literally have to petition the sheriff and and show them the validity on why you should be able to have your weapon on you. Why do you think that is? Because if they have a process, all the Hollywood elite, all the fucking rich, all the political elite, oh, well, my name's Brad Pitt, and I've received 600 emails over the last 24 months saying that someone wants to kill me, and so it's imperative that my security team has the ability to protect me. Okay, granted. Oh, Nancy, I wonder if Nancy Pelosi's protection team is granted the right to carry a firearm. I wonder if the federal judges' protection teams are granted the right to carry a firearm. You guys see the hypocrisy in this? All these motherfuckers that think that they're in charge of us are surrounded by firearms. I have worked protection details at every level of the federal government. I was attached to Supreme Court Justice security details, where we have a 12-man team. Everybody has a fucking Glock 22, 40 cal. That's before they switched over to 9mm, and an AR-15. And we have bulletproof cars. And we're driving around Los Angeles, okay? I'm not in Ramadi, Iraq in a level 7 BMW. I'm in Los Angeles, California in a level 7 BMW. with the bulletproof glass that is 2 inches thick. Are you fucking serious? That's how fucking fearful you are driving around Los Angeles because you're a Supreme Court justice. Well, okay, good. If you're that fearful and you want to fucking have 16 dudes armed to the teeth to take you to the fucking grocery store, by all means do that. I'm not saying that you shouldn't be able to do that. But if you think you can do it, but fucking my neighbor George, who works at Amazon, shouldn't be able to do it, you can fuck yourself. Okay? That has to be the overarching theme of the American people. You don't get to determine whose life is important and whose lives are not important. Sure, to the political elite, they don't give a fuck about our lives. It's all fucking, it's all a shell game just so they can steal money from us, stay at the top and get rich. And then fucking, we're just their little minions. You know what I mean? Like we fucking paid, what was the statistics on the fucking stimulus bill? That every American paid in $5,000 in tax money to get 1,400 back. And we're supposed to be groveling at your feet like, oh, thank you, sir, for $1,400. Fuck you. You know? And so these political elite are controlling our money. Now they're trying to control our ability to defend ourselves. And why do you think that is? I have never been way out in left field. I'm a fucking reasonable person. I'm not wrapped up in these, I don't even want to call them conspiracies because there's shit happening right now that are legitimate conspiracies. So saying conspiracies in a derogatory manner, it's almost an unreasonable thing to do. But what I'm saying is the things that I believe are grounded in reality. They're things that I've seen with my own eyes. And if you don't think that there's nefarious shit going on with our political elite, you're not being reasonable with yourself. You're not being honest with yourself. Why is their focus AR-15s? AR-15s, weapons of war. That's what they're calling them now. They don't like assault weapons was bad enough. That was a bad enough term that they created to sound scary, but that's also 10 years old now. So we're going to have to come up with a new term, weapons of war. We don't need weapons of war on our streets. Okay, well, to go back to the Supreme Court justice details I used to work, why did you need 16 weapons of war on the street when your fucking ass was on the street? Can you answer that? We don't need weapons of war when me or my family are on the street, but we need weapons of war if fucking Joe Biden's on the street. We need fucking weapons of war if Gavin Newsom's on the street. And you know why? Because they are effective tools at fucking protecting yourself and your loved ones. They work. I could get any listener right now on the range with an AR-15 and having you hit a dinner plate sized target from 50 meters inside an hour. They are efficient and they work well. That's why these motherfuckers are scared of them. Okay? Because they know these weapons of war are what will turn the tides of this country when fucking Americans have had enough. They will be what are used to turn the tides when we have said, fuck you, we've had enough. And Joe Biden's senile fucking ass said the other day, oh, well, you're not going to be able to defeat the F-15s with Hellfire missiles with your AK-47. And I know I've brought this up on the podcast before, so I apologize if I'm being redundant. But first of all, Hellfire missiles don't go on that airframe, fuckface. Second of all, read a fucking book. Go look at the history of Afghanistan. Go look at the Vietnam War. Motherfuckers out in the woods with AK-47s. It's turned the whole fucking tide. It's turned the whole landscape of those conflicts. Like, you don't get to say something so fucking asinine without at least having the forethought to be like, you know what? We're literally still in a 20-year war fighting dudes in the mountains who have AK-47s. The most powerful military in the world, and then the Russian military, also a fucking superpower. Both of those countries were unable to control Afghanistan. Why? Well, I can tell you why. Because they were armed, and then they also have will. They're willing to fight for what they believe in. I hope Americans, when the time comes, have the will to fight for what they believe in. I hope they do. But I'll tell you what, after what I've seen this last year, I have lost hope in the American people's spirit of defiance to say, go fuck yourself. And I've also lost hope in the profession of law enforcement for officers to stand up and say, fuck no, we're not doing that. That's not what we do. Every single cop I know was appalled over 2020, fucking appalled at what we were being asked to do as police officers. Every single one. Not 60-40, not 70-30, not 95-5, 100%. But how many were speaking out? And if you're a cop and you're listening and I'm busting your fucking balls right now, I'm sorry, but do the right thing. Speak your heart. Tell people what you fucking believe. Not what your chief wants you to say. Not what your fucking municipality thinks is important. What do you fucking believe as a man, as a woman? What do you think is important for the American people to see your service as? Your service should be for them. And so the coronavirus, it's almost like the coronavirus was a fucking test run. Let's see. Let's just see if we can get cops to shit all over people. And no one's doing a fucking thing about it. And it fucking really aggravates me. Now, I've had a lot of cops say to me, well, if we're ever asked to enforce infringement on Second Amendment rights, I won't do that. Okay, I hope you're telling me the truth. I believe you're telling yourself what you believe you would do. But if the fucking radical left controls the courts and controls the legislation, and they say, you know what, we've determined that you can't carry your Glock on your belt in public anymore. And now there's going to be a new RCW created suggesting that if you are seen in public doing this, blah, blah, blah. And then the call comes out, hey, Paul 2, a man in public with a Glock on his belt at the corner of blah, blah, blah. Roger that, en route. And you show up, which the correct response would be cancel call, I'm not responding. Oh, what, sergeant gets on the air. Excuse me? You're going to have to. No. I don't think you understand. There's no crime being committed and I'm not responding. And if you don't like that, fucking fire me. Cops need to have some fucking balls. Stand up for what you believe is right. Why should you respond to that call? Man on the street with a gun on his belt? Fuck you. You know, that's how they're going to use cops. They're going to start to slowly trap you and pull you in and be like, well, it's on the books and it's a law. And now you're being dispatched. And it's not, hey, officer so-and-so. So this guy has a AR-15 at this address. Go take it. That's not what we're going to see. We're going to see cops being used as henchmen methodically and just, again, it's the frog in the pot. Just turn up the heat, turn up the heat, turn up the heat. Then it's going to get to the point where cops don't even know they're being used to enforce this fucking bullshit. And so I've talked about this on the podcast before. Murder victims by weapon. Okay, this is 2019 statistic. I don't know if the 2020 ones are out, but it's on FBI. It's on their FBI.gov, and it's their fucking homicide statistics. Rifles, 2.16%. Okay, that's it. Handguns, 45.7%. Knives, 10.6%. Blunt objects, bricks, fucking rocks, fire extinguishers, 2.8%. Okay? That's 0.2% higher than rifles. People getting killed with bricks and fucking rocks. Hands, fists, and feet, 4.31%. That's twice as high as rifles. So you got to ask yourself, why is all focus on rifles? Why are they always freaking out about rifles? They're freaked out about rifles is because rifles is what separates us from being able to say, go fuck yourself, to us being their slaves. And they know it. And it's fucking the last thing standing between us. And they fucking know it. So why in any scenario that you can paint, would we be willing to give that up and allow them to take that? There is no scenario, period, that they can fucking paint that will make me agree to give them my rifles. Okay? And I hope every listener, I hope you draw the same line in the sand. You're not taking my rifle. You're not taking my ability to conceal carry when I'm walking around on the streets with my family. You're not taking any of my high capacity magazines. You're not going to fucking dictate anything to me because it's not your fucking job to dictate what I do as a free man. And if you try and dictate, well, we're going to have a fucking problem now. And people need to be willing to step up and say, you know what? And even if you are afraid, I've been on plenty of operations in the Middle East where I did feel a little bit of fear, especially initially when it was a new experience for me. But I use the bite down on the mouthpiece analogy. Like sometimes when you're in a fight and you're sparring and the dude is clipping you and he is a better boxer, a better kickboxer than you, sometimes to stay in the fight, you just got to bite down on your mouthpiece and you got to get in the mix. Guess what else happens when you do that? Sometimes you get fucking knocked out or knocked down. I've been clipped so hard in practice doing that Coach Charlie, who was my coach when I was training MMA, is like, Greg, take your gloves off, get in your car and go home. That shot was too hard. You're done. You're done training for the day. And that's a good coach, right? Because he can see what's transpiring and you're done. But my whole point in that is sometimes that's how you have to approach life. You bite down on your mouthpiece and you start fucking slinging lead. And once you realize, hey, this is where I'm at. This is what I'm doing. It might be dangerous and I might not end up on top. There's a chance that I fucking lose this fight. There's a chance I lose this gunfight. But guess what? You walk away with your head held high. And in my opinion, that's more important than your life. That is more important than your life. You know, I fucking bring up Braveheart often on this show because I was 14 years old when it came out. And when I watched William Wallace just absolutely fucking disobey everything the fucking Edward Longshanks was asking of him, the spirit of go fuck yourself, like literally, I could feel it warm my heart. I was in the 9th grade. I remember watching it. And it's like, here I am. I'm 40 now. It's fucking 27 years later or whatever the fuck it is. And I watch that show and I still feel it. Like, you know, when you listen to good music and you get fucking like those goosebumps, you feel that energy start to build inside of you. I get that watching men be defiant to a tyrannical government. And you should too. It should feel good. It should excite you. The truth is, you know, I said earlier, I'm not a violent person per se. Like I don't seek it, but do I want it? Yeah, of course I want it. Violence is fun. Violence is fucking like the ultimate test of you and your beliefs versus them and their beliefs. And at its core, it's raw, it's real, it's natural, and it feels fucking good. And I've said a million times, the fuckers we shot on the streets of Iraq, I have more respect for them than I do any. I shouldn't say any, 99% of American politicians. Because those fucking young men, they came from Yemen, they came from Syria, they came from Chechnya, they came from all over the world because they had a fucking problem with me. And they said, you know what? I want to find you on the streets and I want to fucking get it on. And may the best man win. And if you don't respect that, you're not looking at the situation properly. That is an enemy that said, you know what? These are my beliefs. These are your beliefs. You want to fucking do something about it? Let's go. And I've talked about it a lot. I look back on Iraq. I think it was a political blunder. I think these people that sent us to the other side of the world to do their dirty work would shit their pants running down Route Michigan through the streets of Ramadi one time. They would pee their fucking panties going through the Cloverleaf in Fallujah when RPGs are being shot from the fucking city. These fucking people that determined that our sons and daughters should go to war on the other side of the planet for their fucking ideas and for their advancements have no courage themselves. And so while the men that I was facing on the streets of Ramadi, I do have respect for, it actually exasperates the amount of disrespect I have for these fucking people back home that are making these calls. And I don't know what the right answer is. I don't know if you should have to have military service to go into politics. That wouldn't be a terrible idea. But at the end of the day, The politically elite class in this country and their core are fucking cowards. Okay? They are cowards. They are protected by teams of men like me. You know, any of these high profile protection details, they fucking draw from the special operations community, guys that know how to shoot, move, and communicate, that are fit, that aren't afraid of a fight, that are ready to fucking get it on. Hey, come protect me. I'll pay you. That's what they do. None of them have the fucking balls to go be their own protector because they're fearful people. And I'm not saying that the president shouldn't have a protection detail. I get it. Okay. I get it. If you're a super high profile, like polarizing figure, you probably should. You probably should elicit some help from the correct people. But that's not what we're seeing. Overall, these people fucking just go from their house to their office and they have these teams of men that are capable, that are armed, that are doing advance, they're doing route recce's, they're doing all of the things that you do as part of a protection detail to make sure that this person just gets to work. And it's just gross. It's gross that these people that fucking do these things don't want you to be able to be armed when you drive your daughter to drop her off at school. Think about that. It's absolutely asinine to me that's what we've arrived at. But what's more asinine to me is that so many people are willing to just say, yeah, you know what? That's okay. I get it. That's they're a senator or they're a president, so we should probably just let them do their thing. No, fuck those people. Like if they want to be protected, guess what? You get to be protected. So Obama said this. This is a statement from Obama regarding the Colorado shooting. And he said, him and the former First Lady Michelle Obama are grieving with the families and victims of Monday's massacre in Boulder. We're feeling deep, familiar outrage. If you think that motherfucker feels anything for those families, then just keep watching CNN. Because, first of all, why does he even feel compelled to say this statement? You know what I'm saying? Like, what's the reason? Why does he feel it necessary to get on TV and start fucking talking about this? Well, I'll tell you why. Because they want your guns. The next statement. It is long past time for those with the power to fight the epidemic of gun violence to do so. It will take time to root out disaffection, racism, and misogyny that fuels these senseless acts of violence. But we can make it harder for those with hate in their heart to buy weapons of war. We can overcome opposition by cowardly politicians. You're the most cowardly of them all, motherfucker. Sorry. We can overcome opposition by cowardly politicians and the pressure of gun lobbies that oppose any limit on the ability of anyone to assemble an arsenal. We can and we must. Like, think about how many triggering words he said in that fucking little paragraph. Misogyny, racism, cowardly, an arsenal, weapons of war. It's all bullshit, guys. It's all bullshit. And these are the people that are pushing for our gun rights to be trampled on. You know, Biden said that he's going to call for new, tighter gun rules. And everyone always goes back to like the background checks and the gun show loopholes. Anyone that's bought a gun knows that it's actually a decently in-depth process. There's a wait period, even for fucking rifles now. And it's a background check, and you can no longer transfer, at least in Washington State. Like if I sell a gun to a friend or a relative, I have to go through FFL and they take possession of the gun and they hold it. That's a bunch of tyrannical bullshit, guys. Why does the government get to have any say in my ability to sell a gun to my family friend? Like, does that sound like an infringement You get to take my gun for 10 days while you look into this guy's life and decide if you've determined that he's a suitable candidate to own a gun or not. The biggest solution to the problem that we see with violence on the street is that people aren't ready to meet violence with equal or greater violence. That is the biggest problem that we are facing in America today. Everyone is cowardly. They're sheep. They fucking flee and they hide and they cower instead of getting up and bringing the fight to that motherfucker and putting him down like a sick dog. That's what needs to happen. So instead of fucking complaining and crying to your government, oh, make background checks harder. Attend Guns and Geese Camp 2. Learn to draw a fucking pistol from your belt and shoot a man in his chest. That's what you need to be doing. And no one's willing to put in the work. Everyone just wants to eat their bullshit, go get their fucking Krispy Kreme vaccine donut. I get to eat donuts every day for a year and just fucking drool all over myself and become fucking obese and gluttonous because I get to eat for free because I did what Joe Biden said. I went and got my vaccine. Go become a capable person. Go invest in your fitness, in your health, in your capabilities. You know, I speak to men more often than not just because obviously, like as a man, I have found my role in my family as the protector, the one that's capable. But guess what? Women are perfectly capable of pursuing those goals as well. Go learn how to fight. Go learn how to use a firearm. Go learn how to fucking make your body resilient and tough. It's important. And if you're unwilling to do that, and then a dude comes in a supermarket and puts down 10 people, and all you did is go hide behind a fucking pallet of Coke, don't be shocked when the situation wasn't resolved in a way that you wished it had been. You had the opportunity your whole life to be prepared to confront violence. We're human beings. Look at history. The entire history of the human race has been fucking overwhelmed with violence. And you think it's going to go away? Of course it's not going to go away. That's a pipe dream, people. So what can you do? We know it's a pipe dream. We know it's never going to happen. So what can you do? You can prepare yourself. That way, when you are confronted with a violent encounter, you have a fucking option. You have an option. But people just are unwilling to put in the work, and the proof is in the pudding. You got people that just fucking cower and run and hide. You know, active shooter, the common narrative that is taught, and I was an active shooter instructor in Southern California. What is taught is run, hide, fight. So if you can run away, that's best option number one. If you can hide somewhere, that's best option number two. And then the last option, if everything else is run out, fight the guy. Think about that for a second. If you have no other options to save yourself or people around you, fight the guy. Listen, run, hide, fight is a good doctrine for my 9-year-old daughter. Run, hide, fight is a good doctrine for your 87-year-old grandma. Run, hide, fight, if you're a male, 18 to 40, you're a fucking bitch if you think that that is the correct doctrine, okay? If there are other people in your community having violence fucking projected against them and you hide, in my opinion, you're the same as the guy pulling the fucking trigger. You're a fucking little bitch. Run, hide, fight? No. If you're a fucking fighting age male, 18 to 40, and you have capabilities and your body works because you should have been fucking thinking about those things your entire life, guess what you do? The doctrine for those people is fight, fight, fight. Fire and maneuver. Advance on them. Set in an ambush. Like I've told people, if you don't have a gun on you, guess what? Grab a fire extinguisher, wait around the corner, and when that motherfucker comes around, you smash him in the back of the head, and when he hits the ground, you hit him 350 more times with that fire extinguisher until it's just a puddle of fucking muck and goo. And it should look like the scene out of The Patriot where he's hacking that motherfucker up with the hatchet. That is what fucking men should be doing to active shooters. But nope, our country is soft, it is weak, people are fat. Can you, let's talk about that. And I'm on a fucking rant today because I'm fed up with our government. But guess what's to blame too? The American people. If you were fucking fat, You are neglecting your body. You are neglecting your capabilities. You are neglecting your ability to defend yourself and your loved ones. And no one wants to talk about it. Oh, it's fat shaming. It's fat. You're going to hurt people's feelings. Fuck your feelings. Okay? Fuck your feelings. If you are incapable of using your body in the manner that it was designed to be used for, that's a fucking problem. No one's talking about this when or I shouldn't say every single one, but the overwhelming majority of COVID victims were fat. That was their comorbidity. They were fat. They eat too much bullshit and their body doesn't work right. They're metabolically incapable of sustaining life. And no one wants to talk about that. Nope. Instead of talking about and I had Mike Mutzel on, who is a metabolic specialist 2 weeks ago. Instead of saying, hey guys, let's start talking about how much water we should drink. Let's talk about how many hours of exercise we should be getting a week. Let's talk about high fructose corn syrup and processed foods and not getting the right micronutrients. Like, there's a discussion to be had. Nobody wants to hear that. Do you hear that on CNN at all? Do you hear that on Fox News? No, because it's not triggering and it's not going to get people fucking fired up to go get their vaccine. What we're seeing is people just being fed a bunch of bullshit narratives, so they just continue to be sheep. Go make your fucking body strong. We're a year into this COVID thing. I don't give a fuck about COVID. Okay. If I get COVID, okay. I don't care at all. And guess what? If COVID fucking kills me, I don't care about that either. I'm not going to give up my life because of some fucking virus with a 99.9% survival rate. But people aren't approaching it with a realistic view. They want to just don't worry about your health. Don't worry about your nutrition. Go eat Krispy Kreme donuts for free if you get the vaccine. Fucking think about that. I'm going to play a quick little video that I had on my Instagram yesterday, and it's of our president telling you to go get the vaccine, please. I'm begging you. And if it doesn't sound like some scripted fucking bullshit, I don't think your ears are open. Listen to this. It's fucking ridiculous.
Virus spread. Getting vaccinated is the best thing we can do to fight back against these variants. While millions of people are vaccinated, we need millions more to be vaccinated. And again, I need you to get vaccinated when it's your term and you're able to do that. I need your help. I need you to help. Not just the country, but your family, your friends, your neighbors. Get them vaccinated as well. If we keep our guard up, stick together, and stick with the science, we can look forward to a 4th of July that feels a bit more normal, with small groups able to gather for cookouts in backyards, and where we begin to declare our independence on Independence Day from the virus. Look, together, we're going to come through this stronger, with renewed faith in each other and our government that fulfills its most important function, protecting the American people. Let me be clear again. Wearing this mask in the meantime, making sure you wash your hands, making sure you socially distance, listen to the CDC. We've got to reach the point where we have herd immunity, meaning where we have a vast majority of the American people have been vaccinated before we can stop wearing these. So please, don't let what you see happening in Europe and you see on television. Keep the faith. Keep wearing the mask. Keep washing your hands. And keep socially distanced. We're going to beat this. We're way ahead of schedule, but we got a long way to go. So I just wanted to bring you up to date. I thank you very much, and may God bless America. May God protect our troops. Thank you so much.
May God bless America, and may God bless our troops. Just a fucking babbling moron. Think about what he said. If you get vaccinated, you can have a barbecue. You can use Independence Day to declare your independence against the virus. Fear-mongering. It's fucking ridiculous that an American president has to get on TV and say, guys, wash your hands. Please wash your hands. And until everybody's vaccinated, you're going to have to wear these masks. So you're going to have to do what I say until you get vaccinated. And just the whole undertone of that, everything about that little speech that he gave was just gross. And it's clear as day that he is not in this to ensure that your health is protected. Not at all. He's fucking pushing an agenda. And if anyone doesn't see that, I feel sorry for you. He said the government's most critical role is protecting the American people. No, the last person that I need any kind of fucking guidance from on protecting myself is you. You're the same motherfucker that said, if someone comes into your house, shoot him with a 12 gauge. I'll shoot him through the door. Yeah, what? You'll shoot him through the door? You're giving me tactical advice while simultaneously violating one of the 4 cardinal rules of firearm safety. And that's know your target, know the foreground, and know what's beyond it. Okay? That's rule number 4. And the fucking sitting president says, just shoot him through the door with a 12 gauge. Or he also says, shoot him in the leg. Because, yeah, people can't fight. People can't kill you with injuries to their legs. It's fucking ridiculous. It's ridiculous that this is where we're at. I'll tell you what, I saw a young man on the television the other night, and his name is Madison Cawthorn, and he's the youngest congressman that's ever been elected. And I think he gets it. He spoke in Congress and said straight up basically what I'm saying without all the fucks and cocksuckers. But he said, hey, you want the fucking guns? Come and take them. I fucking dare you. And I'll tell you what, watching that kid say that, it gave me a fucking sense of hope. There are some people that are still pursuing a career in politics that in their core are real people that are fed up and that have had enough. So it'll be interesting to follow that young man's career. And again, I'm basing my opinion on him on a 45-second YouTube video. But based on what I saw, I like him. I like where this is going. So, yeah, the Supreme Court is actually weighing in on entering homes without warrants for community caretaking. And all the headlines about this story say that the Biden administration has backed to this proposal. But I don't know what that means. Did his press secretary say something about it? Because I haven't been able to find anything from the administration that is specifically speaking about entering houses on using exigent circumstances as opposed to a warrant. And so I feel like the media is kind of using this again as a tool to kind of incite get everybody spun up, because entering houses with exigency is something that has been happening in law enforcement since the beginning of time. So obviously to enter somebody's house, I mean, the Fourth Amendment protects them from unreasonable search and seizure. If I'm going to go into your house, I have to propose why I want to go into your house to a judge. They have to review the affidavit, and then they have to say yes or no, or come back with more information. Once the warrant is signed, now we have legal authority to enter your house. But if I'm a police officer and I'm on patrol and I look through the window of a house and I see someone about to, just say, for instance, I see someone being held at gunpoint. Well, I don't know the situation. I don't have a warrant to enter that house, but I can certainly enter that house to preserve life and protect that person that's being held at gunpoint. And obviously, without knowing the situation, who knows why that person's held at gunpoint. But my point is, there are circumstances where police officers can enter houses. The community caretaking one is more of, hey, I live next to a 90-year-old lady who I have coffee with every morning at 7 a.m. In the last 3 days in a row, she's missed our coffee time. Oh, shit. Like, did she fall down? I'm not going to go to the court system and petition for a warrant to check on her. I'm going to knock on the door. I'm going to be loud. I'm going to try and get her attention. And if you don't hear anything, you can enter that house under an exigent circumstance of community caretaking. And I think that everybody agrees what is reasonable and what is unreasonable. But what does everybody do? They take a reasonable approach, i.e., Officer so and so entering the house to check on 90-year-old grandmother, and then they start to tweak it a little bit. So there was a circumstance recently where somebody was, I believe a wife called in to talk about her husband's ideology, meaning called 911 to report like, oh, he's suicidal. And they came and he went to the hospital. But then the police officers went into the house and took his guns under community caretaking. And yeah, I think that I don't think that falls under community caretaking. I think you're entering someone's house and taking their guns. Listen, I've been very open about depression and suicidal ideations. I've been real dark before. That was never up to the government to come and take my guns from me. It's not your fucking role. It's not your responsibility, and it's not your right. And even if it reached to the point where I took my own life, that doesn't suddenly give the government the authority to just go in and start taking people's guns away from them. And so we'll see where this goes. It was the case is Canigla versus Strom. And yeah, I'll be following this to see, because what they do is they use every little opportunity to create a narrative why they need to be able to do that. Well, we need to be able to do this because someone might kill themselves in the future. But because someone might kill themselves in the future if they don't do this, now they've created a precedent to where they can just take anybody's guns at any time if they think you may have a mental health issue. And so I've been going at this an hour. It's been a pretty fired up podcast, but it just boils down to I've had enough of the government. And I think most of you guys had too. And at some point, when we tell the government we've had enough, what is that going to look like? And I don't know. I don't know what it looks like. You know, that like I told you the story before on the show where the county went and put a meter on my buddy's well, and now they're charging him for his own water out of his own ground. I mean, think about that. I think that should be a fight to the fucking death. I've had this well for how many years, and now one day you decide that that's the government's water coming out of the ground. They metered it and they're charging him for his own water. Fuck you. When I built my gym, I had to pay for so many fucking different permits. Oh, we need to do a ultrasound of the ground looking for Indian artifacts. We need to purchase property in a wetland to have a wetland offset. And I've told that story before on the show, so I'll spare it. But I basically told them to go fuck themselves, and it actually worked. I actually said, hey, what you're doing is not legal. You're extorting money from me, and I'm going to open a federal investigation because I'm actually a federal officer. And I guess that scared county level government. And I got a phone call about an hour later, and they said, we've decided to waive all your fees. I said, interesting. But it's crazy that I have to threaten opening a federal investigation on fucking county through the county permitting process because they want to extort money from me because I want to build a gym. And it's crazy that that's where we're at. And so it starts with your well, and then it moves to your fucking building permits. And now they're looking at your 30 round magazines. And now they're looking at your assault rifles. And it's our obligation to just say, no more. This is the line in the sand. Get the fuck off my property. And if you come back with the cops, well, then I implore those cops to side with the people. As a father, it is an obligation that I leave this world the best that I can leave it for my daughters. You know, I wish this podcast could be about working out, jujitsu, fishing, hot chicks, like all the stuff that fucking guys like, right? But unfortunately, we have a sinister adversary that if we just sit back and focus on what's good, or we just let these fucking political elite cocksuckers pit us all against each other. Well, all gays don't like straight people and blacks don't like whites. And now everybody hates Asian people. Like all this stuff just spinning us up. while the powers to be get their hooks in even deeper. Their wealth gets greater. They get more power. While we're all just fucking focused on each other. And that's what we're seeing. That's what this last year was about. Make everybody fucking hate each other. And so that's why I want this show to just be a little tiny voice of authenticity. I don't give a fuck about the ratings. I don't give a fuck who likes me. I want people to know that there's some bullshit on the horizon. And if you're not thinking about it and you're not ready for it, you're going to be a lamb that's led to the slaughter. Get your fucking guard up. Get your capabilities up. Get your fitness up. You know, and fuck you if you're a mayor or a governor. Fuck you, Inslee. Fuck you. Like, oh, I don't even know. What was the guy's name that fucking wrote the majority opinion on the Ninth Circuit banning you carrying guns? His name's Judge J. Bybee, Bybee. Fuck you too. Fuck all these people that think they get to dictate what we do with our own lives in our own time, with our own families, with our own weapons. Fuck all of you. And once the majority of Americans are willing to step up and tell those people to sit their fucking asses back down, they don't get to dictate what we do. Guess what they'll do? They'll sit their asses down. But we've given them a false sense of security. They think that they're safe to get up and stand up on the chair and fucking speak down to us like we're fucking slaves. Like they're the fucking Messiah. And they get to tell us what we get to do, what we don't get to do. You can go here. You get this much water. You can't carry a gun here. You can do this. You can't do that. The only reason that they get away with any of this bullshit, there's one reason. There's only one reason they get away with this bullshit. They have armed men called police officers that enforce their bullshit. That's it. You take away the enforcement leg of this stool and it topples over. And the thing that it fucking breaks my heart is that 99% of the men and women that wear the badge, they don't agree with these people. They think they're evil cocksuckers just like I do. But for whatever reason, they're too apprehensive to say, you know what? Fuck those people. Like I watched Seattle just turn into a fucking shit show last year. The mayor and the city council say, oh, we'll do this and don't do that. And all the police chiefs, they're just fucking bend a knee and kissing ass. Fuck you too. Like, it's time for the men and women that are actually capable, that have the training and the tools and the will to do what's right. And I don't give a fuck what your city council thinks. I don't give a fuck what your mayor thinks. We need to reach a point where all those people know they hold no power. But right now, they think they hold all the power. And unfortunately, they kind of do. They kind of do because everybody's willing to sit back. They told the fucking Seattle police to give up your precinct. Give up your precinct because there's angry people outside and they want to create an autonomous zone. And they fucking did it over my dead fucking body. Like, but that's where we're at. And so I implore each and every one of you that listens to this episode, share it, fucking talk about it. But more importantly, have conversations with your family, with your friends, with your peers, with your support groups. Find people that are also like-minded, that know there's a date fucking coming where what's important, meaning your health, your fitness, your capabilities, that date's on the horizon. And I'm not saying this to scare you or fucking incite fear or terror, because to tell you the truth, that date fucking excites me. I hope that fucking date is tomorrow. My biggest fear is that that date is in the year 2040 and I'm an old broken man and I can't get in the fucking fight. That's my biggest fear, because that's what this country will need. Once this country is taken back by people that have good hearts and have belief in putting the people's needs first and not the fucking political elite, once the country is taken back by people that actually want to see what's best for this country, it's going to be a fucking breath of fresh air. But unfortunately, we're on a downward trajectory where these cocksuckers are trying to strip us little by little of everything that we hold dear. And the reason they're doing that is because once they take our capabilities away, they're at the top of the throne forever. This is straight up Game of Thrones. And they're fucking playing a game to ensure that we can never get back on top. And we cannot let that happen. That's all I got for this week, guys. That was quite the rant. We got some good shows coming up in the future, and I look forward to coming back and sharing my thoughts again. Thanks for listening.